All right, we're going to clear our space. Take some breaths first just to connect to the energy. Breathe it in to the space, create space in your chest. And then breathe it out. And breathe it into the space that's inside your chest. Then breathe it out. Breathe it in. And now let's breathe it down to Mother Earth. Let that energy flow. And now we're asking that the space that we are all sitting in, we're going to circulate some energy. I'm seeing beautiful yellow energy in my space right now, and pink, and just swirl the space, swirl the energy in our space to collect anything that doesn't serve us, to clean this space out. Definitely, I'm sure I need it because Michael nor I slept very good last night. Ask that you just clean that. I see a funnel in my mind, and it just like a vortex taking it right down to Mother Earth. And then I'm going to send our energy, and I invite you all to just picture from your feet, from your sacrum, everywhere, just sending energy down into Mother Earth so that she's going to hold us and help for our highest good in this time, that only our highest good is going to be served in this interaction with energy. That we are held within the energy of Mother Earth, and that she will be keeping us and helping us all in our journeys, getting a real sense of that connection to Mother Earth is one of many, but she's saying it is one of the doorways to this connection. So with your intention, when you send your energy down into her, create space and wait to see what you get back. That is a way that can facilitate that connection. Okay, I'm going to just breathe into my heart, and I'm sending it out to all of you, connecting us cosmically. So we are all one, sending it up to the universe to merge, down to Mother Earth to merge, setting our intention for love and light and trust and security, to know that all is well in any given time. We're cleaning our energy out, releasing anything out of our energy fields that don't serve us, sending it right down to Mother Earth. We call back any energy that is ours that we have lost along our journey. We call it back to our center for our highest good. The temperature goes up and down a lot. I'm just going to ask the guides. They know our hearts and our intention. How do we start today? What do we want to do today? We would say, dear ones, to just begin with the questions that come to mind, with the knowing that all your teams and guides are working with all of you. And when you have the impulse, as we gave to this one, when Jeannie's sister was nudging into the energy, very interested and loving the exchange and very pleased that her sister is awakening to the degree that she is during this incarnation. It drew that energy forth. Within that, there is a knowing, the knowing being that when you as humans set your intention and open your heart and connect your energy, whether you are feeling it or not, whether you are getting the evidence on this plane or not, for you to have the reassurance from us at this time that those you are reaching for are absolutely there, and that you will develop, if you set your mind and your intention and your openness, you will develop the ability to feel and to see. The signs will come, the feathers and the impulses and the serendipities and all of those kinds of things that you are all aware of will present themselves as your reassurance. And when you get them and you validate between you and your guides, yes, I saw that feather on the cup, and there is no explanation. The human cannot explain it away. When you hold that and validate that and hold that in your heart, it will create a layer of understanding as you build the bridge between you and the abilities and gifts that you seek. Every one of those things is a thread of energy. And every time you connect in love, you create the bridge, the energetic bridge from one side of the veil to the other side of the veil. Perhaps a practice could be to go into meditation and take your steps across that bridge, taking a step and sitting in the feeling of it. This next step feels a little different. How does it feel different? Even if you are just using your mind with a visualization, ask for the sensations. Ask to be open. Ask to be able to allow. When Kelly is reaching for that sensation that feels scary to her, but she also is drawn to it, that is that thing that is across the bridge for her, in the same way that there are those things that are across the bridge for each person in their human journey. Acknowledging the bridge, the energetic bridge, the energetic connection between the human on this side of the veil and across the veil to whatever is of resonance for you in this present moment. Even if it is the feather on the cup, that is a vibrational resonance that you were able to draw from across the veil. Validate that There are many opportunities within your lives to see the back and forth that happens. The more you bring those things up and hold them without the, well, that's not that great. It only comes here or there. It only happened once. Those are those human vibrational threads that are pulling you in a different direction, we would say. Human, absolutely, but acknowledge them and let them go. As Kelly works on her path to release judgment, she holds great judgment for herself. Humankind does this. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough because I can't do this thing. I'm less than. When you are perfect in this moment, and every time you bring your energy back from that which you want to turn your face away from, you are creating those strands of energy that is creating the bridge to what you want to be. So we have said this to Kelly before, and we are saying it to you all now, that take great encouragement from every intentional action in the right direction is shoring up your bridge. It doesn't go away when you falter. It doesn't get less than. You perhaps move energetically from it, but it is still there with the energetic pull. So even if you're over here and something reminds you, we're able to give you that sign, that nudge that makes you go, oh, damn it, come back over here. And you do, that is the work. That is the work. That is the human path. We would ask any of you for a question at this time.
With the idea of judgment is also grounded in duality. With your energy, I'm not sure who we're speaking to, but in that energy, do you also experience duality, or is this a human thing?
There are multiple questions within that. The first thing is the energy can be identified in any given moment. The identification would be from the strongest she's struggling. She's seeing a melding and perhaps a raising to the top. And when that question would be asked, that's where the answer would come from. There is no wrong in that. There's no wrong in asking for the identifications. When you earlier spoke of Lacrosse, the energy of Lacrosse will never not be present in these interactions. But if you can think of the energy that brought her along her path to this stage that she is on now, that now she's able to entertain, is a good way of thinking it, much higher and much more strangely feeling to her at any given time. So we would answer that part because we know the curiosity around, is it this one or that one? That is human, which duality as well is. Is it this or that? The unity consciousness that we spoke of, the Christ consciousness, which is that consciousness of oneness, it is the human condition to step out of that oneness into the separateness that is duality, which then allows that anything that is not me can be judged as good or bad or right or wrong. That is part of the human condition. This one is seeing within her a cosmic scene of flow, a ribbon, if you will, going throughout. We would just say that this duality is experienced along that ribbon. She asks if we're trying to say different planets. That isn't exactly it. It is that whole dimension, timeline, understanding that we're trying to build upon. So to get succinct in the answer of duality being a human experience, to that we would say yes to your understanding. There is the experience of light and the absence of light throughout all. There isn't judgment around it. It is the frequency. And those that are of the frequency of light coalesces with light. If that answers your question.
Do animals on planet Earth experience duality?
You see the interaction with the environment from the animals and the instinctive survival beingness that is within them. There are species of animals that have evolved within the human influence, and it has created within them it wouldn't be understood as the same as the human understanding, but we would say a different instinctual knowingness that was not predominantly there prior to the influences of the entanglement with humans. To say that a different way, we would say that all of you experience a dulling of your own instinct by experience. When the animal is left in the wild, it would maintain in that environment. When the human is raised with certain external influences, it also influences their instinct, which we would say even in another way, their knowing, their connection. It can be dulled by experience, but don't lose track of that is why you came forward in this incarnation, was to have the experiences.
Does the human having the experiences also have benefit on the rest of existence? Is there a point to it?
It is all the point, dear one. This incarnation is for the expansion of the all. So is all beingness. We show her the expanse of the all. Everything is expanding. We will use her word, God. One fractal of God expanding is the earth plane and the human experience on it. We are showing her a great amount of pictures at this time, asking for her to sum it up. A comparison, if you will, between the explanation that we gave to Jeannie this morning of the drops of the soul experiencing the human in the world. The earthly humanity experience is like one of the fractals of the oversoul that is the words just don't cover it, the expansion of that which is the all. It goes for infinity. It is as existence, period. Your agreement is to come forth and experience, and through your experiences, find your way back to remembering all that you are. So is Mother Earth. you are all part of the fractals that make up her. And she has shown this one before that she is but a fractal that makes up a greater whole as well, which is but a fractal that makes up a greater whole as well. We would encourage an open-mindedness when considering this, but to not get too hung up, shall we say, in trying to understand the whole of it. A broad understanding supports you on your journey, but your journey is not that understanding. Your journey is the understanding of you and the power that you have available to you within this incarnation.
So when people incarnate and do not, um, let me backtrack once. My understanding is that we create a life plan in order to learn lessons. Do people come to Earth to not be awakened in order to help others awaken? What's the reason for some of us to
That's exactly it.
become understanding and some of us don't? Is it just because they're helping others, so they're staying in the dark for the other people's?
As was spoken of earlier today, this is a big piece of the pie of understanding for the journey that you all are on. So let us go in again. When the decision is made to have schizophrenia or to be on the spectrum or to incarnate in such a horrific beginning that the potential and likelihood of even survival may not be there. These are the incarnations that facilitate the expansion of the all. It is an opportunity. The varying childhood experiences that are on such an incredible continuum that can still end with the person finding unconditional love for the all. Those are those shining lights within your world that beckons the human to a greater experience of their reality. That if we show Kelly the Robin Lansong, who by the age of 8 had experienced atrocities that are difficult even to put into words, and yet now she lives a life of bringing the healings through song from Mother Earth up into this plane of existence, this dimension. She acts as the conduit and teaches that all of you can be that conduit. And what a glorious example and light she is within your world. But the human wouldn't look at the gloriousness. There are those who are shining their light as brightly as Robin is shining, but there just is an impact that happens for humans that if you can see that she was once here, but now is able to be here, it gives such a great beckoning of hope that if she's able to overcome that, then I should be able to overcome this. But even did you hear the thread of judgment in that? That one is worse than the other. When from our perspective, as we have said so many times, through so many channels, there is no difference in the experience between Kelly's feeling unwanted and the repeated physical assaults and horrific physical things, being shot and abused and beaten and all of the horrible things that Robin went through. Those are just experiences. They are just experiences to use as a stepping stone. We show her lily pads going across the expanse and the energy being the pond and the lily pad being the coalescing of energy as an experience that is strong enough to give you that step across that energetic expanse that you are traveling. Would you ask for clarification? Is there a specific thing you'd like clarified in that?
No, I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
So the question originally started about people choosing a certain path for their highest good or for others. I hear people talk about removing cords and cutting cords and things like soul contracts and soul family contracts. And there's different beliefs or perspectives on how to help negative situations, kind of be taken out of your life, so to speak. And I know that we also choose those negative situations. So I guess I'm curious about your thoughts on what I'm asking, if you understand my question.
Yes, we show this one, that starburst of pathways, all of them being correct. There are many rituals. We show dancing around fire in her mind, the beads, the various things flashing across her mind. It is the intention that the human puts into it, in the same way that we gave her steps to utilize her energy and intention that would turn the energetic flame up under the four of you in this moment, because it is your intention. The human needs a thing. The angel Michael with his giant sword, energetic ties across dimensions and timelines and incarnations and realms, has the power that the energy gives it and the intention gives it, to the point that the individual is able to allow that truth to happen. Any given moment, there is the moment in time, this moment now, there is the moment of pure rapturous blending of knowing when all of the veils are lifted. That moment is now, and that moment is not. This is the showing me layers, like lots and lots of layers and lots of layers. It is a concept that is practically beyond human understanding because of the agreements that you made to experience linear time. So when you ask us who have the knowings around the true experience of time, we do our best to give the channel pictures and words that will represent and resonate with those that hear this, to try to make, really, it goes back to the simplicity of the present moment. Again, it goes back because it's all that we have. Your consciousness in this present moment, but there is your consciousness in many present moments.
What is the purpose of that? I understand that we're told that we all come from the same source.
We are all one.
We are all one. So, like, for instance, I feel like I know time is, we've agreed to linear time. So for me, since at least maybe the beginning of this year, but definitely a couple months ago, I feel like I was multidimensional and I was flipping in and out of understanding past lives. But we also talk about them being in the moment all the time. But then I also wonder, well, does that not mean that I could have experienced Hitler's life and Napoleon's life and Jesus's life? Like, if we all come from the same fabric, do we not have access to those life experiences somehow? Or is that not until we're out of this human body? So many questions.
Yes, and yes. It is part of the journey of understanding. We flash the gentleman that Kelly has struggled with this week, that Karen put into her experience. And there are those that reach that place within this incarnation, the place of knowing. To answer the question of why, it is the experience, it is how the all expands. If you are completely awakened and you sit in that moment of total knowing, then what is next? That was where consciousness was. And the decision to expand and oh my God, they're just showing me this whole like universal. Ziara kataruma katarzi katarukuma arakiz katarukotozi katarakamaria tarkotozu kujikiatarakamata. Azikia dikia toto do karamiana do kumanana diana como onya nana anya nana nana anya nana 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 nana. This one's experience is shifting in this moment. Bringing through what she would call the pixie dust experience. That is the explanation that is going to be the thing that is going to make the most sense to you at this time. That the all, in the moment of total, complete knowing, bliss, oneness, decided to expand. That is using the words the best that we can in this moment. And our journeying, the human journeying, and coming to conclusions and decisions and turning right instead of left is all the energy that goes into that matrix of the all, which feeds this cosmic connectedness. She sees the grid glowing with the energetic power. Her hands tingle and pinprick. Would you ask something more?
You know, Good. If we were talking earlier about emotions, and my understanding is that emotions are a really important aspect to guide us in a lot of different ways. Can you give any advice when humans are stuck in a negative emotional cycle?
Utilize the chakra system. This is the doorway to the understanding you seek. The stuckness is a perfect understanding that there is an energetic stuckness within your human energy field that is personal to you, though connected to it all. Emotions are a we show this one a path with blinking lights along the path that gives the guidance. That is how you navigate. When she had the experience yesterday, when she saw the email and she felt that feeling of revulsion that was given within her, that she would not even have been able to identify at the time. It was that response that move in a different direction, remembering that we call you to your highest and greatest, not with judgment, with love and acceptance of each individual exactly where they are. Even in the schizophrenic individual, even in the Hitler, there is the guidance within them, always tapping, always beckoning. When the emotion feels so uncomfortable, Sylvia, within you, and it travels around this judgment, it's like this uncomfortable, we will be so strong as to use the word cancer within the human experience. And what we would point out is the discomfort that it brings. So then the human who puts their hand on the hot stove and pulls it back feels the discomfort and it pulls them in a different direction. If they are listening, there are those who are on a cosmic treadmill of living the same thing around and around by the grace of all that is being given, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to get off the merry-go-round of that particular experience. It's a gift. When you identify the merry-go-round, that is the first step to getting off it. So you look at the example here and then again here, but there was that time between examples, wasn't there? You felt that little bit of peace in between, and then there was this another opportunity to feel the opposite of that. And then you feel that peace, and then you feel the unrest. This is a wonderful understanding of your experience of emotions. Each emotion being its own merry-go-round. Sometimes the merry-go-round spins so fast that the feelings of peace cannot be found. When you start to feel the discomfort in between, the self-knowing of that isn't who I am. That is not who I identify as being my highest version of myself in this moment. Those are those slowing down, peaceful moments on the merry-go-round. And you just keep going, honey. You just keep going on the ride until it's slow enough to get off. And each emotional merry-go-round is spinning around you all the time. It is the human experience and choice to get on or to get off. So to state, how can the human more easily release that negative pattern? The first step is identifying it as the gift that it is. Without it, the peace can't be experienced. So you identify that and you start to become more aware and you start to set your intention for the peace. And perhaps a strategy will come into your experience. This one and her monkeys. It slows it down. All those strategies, the cutting of the cords, those are all strategies to help the human focus their intention, focus their knowing.